Hello! I'm Elaine, and I'm a tour guide in the French Quarter. I do ghost tours. And I am not going to tell you the stories that I tell on my tour, because you gotta pay for those. But if you want to hear some interesting things that have happened to me while I'm leading random drunk people around the French Quarter, I got you. Sometimes on a tour, you have an interaction with a guest that seemed perfectly normal at the time, like you don't think anything of it, and it's only in retrospect that you're looking back going, wait, what? And like sometimes hilariously I am literally all the way at home getting ready for bed, like, and I'll just be laying there trying to go to sleep and my brain starts replaying this conversation and I'm just going, did they say that? Is that was that what we did that really happen? Like, are you sure? But one of my favorites so far in my life, lady and I were talking about cockroaches because there are a lot of them in the French Quarter. You're outside, it's the South, it's a swampy territory, they're gonna be roaches. And we're not talking about those tiny little, like, little cockroaches that people get up north. I mean the ones that are 1 to 2 inches. They fly at your face if you try to step on them. They're what Southerners tend to call palmetto bugs, and they're not great. And like, I often joke with my guests that the scariest thing I can tell you on a tour is that yes, they do fly. But because they are everywhere, because people tend to notice them, and because yes, they are prone to running or flying directly at you, they come up as a topic of conversation a lot on tours. And me and this lady were just talking about them and talking about how nasty they were and how neither of us liked them and would freak out when they got in the apartment. But this lady then tells me that she had a cockroach living in her microwave for 6 months. And at the time I was like, okay, yeah, that's bad. I'm sad that happened to you. I'm glad you got rid of that problem. But it was only like when I got home that night and was laying in bed and was thinking about it, I was going, how did she have a cockroach living in her microwave for 6 months? And like, she had talked about like every time she opened the door she'd see it and be like, well, okay, well, I guess I'm not heating my food tonight, and just shut the door. And she kept expecting it to die and it just kept living in her microwave. And my thing is, how did it get in there in the first place? If it was in the box where you cook food with, like, that's not sealed by any stretch of the imagination, but like, it has enough metal around it that nothing as big as a cockroach is going to get in there. And if it was in, like, the actual box where all the wires and stuff are that cause the heat, like, then it's not in the space that you're gonna see, so how you would know it's still there? Or, like, maybe it was under the microwave? Like, none of this makes sense to me. And also, why didn't she do anything to kill it? Like, why didn't she take it outside, like the microwave, and, like, leave it outside for the cockroach to get out of? Or for that matter, just throw it the fuck away! Or, you know, use bug spray! There are so many questions I have about this story, and at the time, I didn't think to ask any of them. But another one, and this other one was all one woman, and she just kept saying things that at the time were just like, okay, that's unusual. And later I'm like, wait, what? So the first thing she did was on our walk to the very first starting location. She was complaining about the heat, and I was trying not to laugh at her because this was early spring, and it was honestly barely 80 degrees out there. But she was complaining about the fact that it's been hot, and she wanted to take a cold shower, and her hotel didn't have cold water. And I was like, you mean hot water? And she's like, no, it doesn't have cold water. And I'm like, that's unusual. And like, in this current time, I'm recording this in August, and I can tell you that I currently don't really have cold water running in the apartment because the pipes have been so heated up that they are producing actually hot water even when you turn on the cold tap. But at that time, no, she would have had cold water at her hotel, so I really don't know what she was talking about. But the real kicker of that one was later in the tour. We were walking to another location, and she was just complaining at me, and it got to the point that I wasn't really listening because she complained a lot throughout the tour, and I was trying to focus on, you know, doing a tour, and like trying to get us across the road without getting hit by a car, and, you know, the important things. So I was only half listening as she bitched about the fact that her daughter is a Satanist and keeps sending the grandbabies to school in shirts that say, Satan is my daddy. And the kids keep ending up in fistfights with other kids and getting sent to the office and things like that for, you know, wearing these shirts. And I'm half listening going, oh yeah, well, you know, religious freedom, she's allowed to be a Satanist, and, like, you know, it sucks that they're getting in trouble for what is just, religious freedom, but okay. And also, that is a slightly sexual shirt, but okay, whatever. And it was only when I got home that night that I was like, wait, I have a lot of questions on that. Like, are we talking about, like, the actual Church of Satan that is basically just hedonists, but with the imagery of Christian Satan? Or are we talking about, like, the actual people who believe in the Christian idea of Satan, but somehow worship him? And, like, both are, you can believe what you want, you can practice whatever religion you want, but one is a lot more common of a religion than the other one. And also, like, did she mean to send her kids to school in a shirt that sounds a little bit sexual, or was it just my imagination? And, like, why was the grandmother so concerned about this? And, like, I just have a lot of questions, and, like, I just really wish I had asked any of those questions at the time. For the time, I was just trying to get done with a tour, and now it's too late. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to share your own experiences in the comments below.